Hi, everyone. Today we're going to review one-step equations. I thought before vacation people were kind of struggling when we added fractions and decimals, so we're going to do one-step review today, and you're going to redo the worksheet from before vacation. I'll give you a clean copy, and I want to make sure that you get it all correct because tomorrow we're going to do two-step equations. So it's really important you understand this. Now, remember, one step equation review. Remember to start with the side on the x. Always start where the variable is. Undo is what is being done and do the same to both sides. And your goal is to solve for x. So on the first one, we have x plus 6 equals 10. So we're going to subtract 6. We're going to do the opposite or the inverse operation. Add 6, the opposite of adding is subtracting. So this equals 0, so we get x left on the left side, and 10 minus 6 is 4. To check our work, we take the original equation and we plug the 4 in for the x. So 4 plus 6. Does that equal 10? It does. 10 equals 10. It checks. So when you take your quiz later this week, you can tell me if your answers are correct or not. Now on number 2, we start on the side where the x is and we undo what's being done. If we're subtracting 9.3, we have to add 9.3, and we do it to both sides and draw our line. Now, when we add or subtract, we have to line up the decimals and add extra zeros, okay, and bring this decimal down. So 0 plus 3 is 3, and 9 and 5 plus 5 is 14. And on the right side is x. If I want to check my work, does 5 equal 14.3 minus 9.3? So I'm going to go up here and just do 14.3 minus 9.3. And I always line up the decimals when you add or subtract. 3 minus 3 is 0, and 14 minus 9 is 5. So yes, it works. And the last one we have with adding is another case where some people say, oh, it's adding, so I'm going to subtract. Well, you have to kind of look at the number that you're adding. If I have negative 5 plus x, I'm going to want to add 5 because negative 5 plus 5 is 0. And I'm going to add 5 to this side. So that equals 0, and we get x alone on this side. Negative 2 plus positive 5 is 3. Check our work. Does negative 2 equal negative 5 plus 3? That equals negative 2, so yes, it checks. Now, when we have something like number 4, remember when there's no operation, that's multiplication. 2 times x. So the way we undo multiplication is we divide, and we always show it as a fraction. And we show it this way because 2 divided by 2 is 1x. And we have x equals 5 halves. And that also equals 2.5. But I would be okay with this answer. Totally fine with it. If you want to make it mixed, you can. Now, if I wanted to check my work, does 5 equal 2 times 5 halves? Watch what happens. The 2's cancel out. 1 times 5 is 5. So yes, this is why if you leave it as a improper fraction and plug it into the original equation, you will see that things cross cancel, so you get the correct answer. Now, number 5 is one where students were getting incorrect on this worksheet before. Negative 4x. That's not minus. It's negative 4 times x. This is multiplication. This is multiply. How do we undo multiplication? We use division. So if we're multiplying by negative 4, we have to divide by negative 4. And then we get x equals, well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Let's check it out. Take the original equation and plug in our x. A negative times a negative is positive 8. Does that equal 8? Yes, it does. Here's number 6. 0.03 times x. We have to divide by 0.03 and divide by 0.03. Don't let the decimals throw you off. So this side would be x equals. Now on the side, this is 12.6 divided by 0.03. Top number goes in the house. Then we have to scoop twice to make this a whole number. So we have to scoop twice here to make it a whole number and bring your decimal point up. Add a 0. So now the problem is 1,260 divided by 3. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Bring down the 6. 3 goes into 6 twice, which is 6. Bring down the 0. You have to bring the 0 down because you have a gap here. And 3 goes into 0 0 times. So x is 420. We have really one other case of now division. So I think this is number 7. So the next one we're going to talk is about when we're dividing. So I have x divided by -3 equals 4. Start on the side with the x. If you need to cover this side up, cover it up. X divided by -3. So I have to multiply by -3 to undo. Multiply by -3. If you need to put a 1 under here to keep it, go ahead. -3 divided by -3 is +1. And 4 times -3 is -12. Plug it into the original equation. We will get -12 divided by -3. Does that equal 4? 12 divided by 3 is 4. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So yes, it checks. Let's do another one. If I have 16 equals x divided by 4. The only way to get rid of something in the bottom is to put it up top. So you're going to do the opposite. So you always start with this side, x, and say to yourself, x divided by 4. How do you undo divide by 4? You multiply by 4. So you get 4 times 16. You might have to do this over here. 64. So you get 64 equals x. These cancel out. Now let's do another one. These examples should help you with everything on your worksheet. So then we have 2/3 x equals 10. Always start on the side with the x. And now we have 2/3 x. Well, the way to get rid of 2/3 is to multiply by the reciprocal because we want to get 1x. This is the reciprocal. Remember, you flip it. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3/2. So I have to do the same to both sides. Put the 1 under the 10. Okay? So 2's cancel and the 3's cancel, and I get 1x left over. Multiply by the reciprocal. Now I can cross cancel. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. If I want to check my work, take the original equation and substitute in my x. Right? 2/3 x equals 10. Well, let's see. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Does 10 equal 10? Yes, it does. So it checks. Now, I want to do one more, and I want to do it with decimals so that we can remember how to multiply decimals. I think this might be number 10. I don't even know. All right, so let's say we have x divided by 1.4 equals, I don't know, 0.53. Don't let the decimals throw you. off. Look at the S side with the X. What's being done? It's being divided by 1.4. So we need to multiply by 1.4. And if we do it to the left, we have to do it to the other side. 1.4s cancel, and we get X equals. Now, multiply decimals the way we've talked about it all year. Get rid of the decimal. 53 times 14. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 5 is 20, and 1 is 21. Add a 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 5 is 5. 2, 4. So that's what we get, 742. But now let's see where the decimal point has to be. We have 1 space there, 2, 3 spaces. So we need to come back 1, 2, 3. 0.72. 742 rather, sorry. And that is our answer. Remember, when you multiply decimals, whole numbers, multiply, and then add the decimal point at the end. And that is a review of one-step equations.